Right, well, we're going to put some more beams on now. The next one that I'm going to consider would be another purlin, and I'll put on the fascia purlin. So the purlin that'll sit right down against the gutter edge. Now to do that, we'll download another DWG profile. I'll just go back to the home page of steelweb.info. So I've opened up steelweb.info. Last time we went to Z sections. This time we'll go to C sections. And similar section we downloaded last time was the Z150 2mm thick, that's Z150-20. So we'll go for a C150 2mm thick or C150-20. So we'll download the 2D DWG file. So I've done that previously, so that'll be in my downloads folder, or wherever you download it to. Just remember what path you downloaded that file to. So now that we've downloaded the file, we'll go back to our worksheet that we created before. So if I go to WO2 Steel Sections Worksheet, or whatever you called your worksheet, when we open that up, there's the Z section that we used before. This one's going to take a little bit more work. I'm going to start off with a C section, and I'm going to turn the C section into a fascia purlin. So I'm going to go to File, External Content, Place External Drawing. And if you find where you've downloaded your C section file to just then, here's mine, C150-20, and open that up. Same as last time, we'll set one drawing unit to 1mm. So if I click somewhere there, first thing we did last time is we'll explode that. You can always see it needs exploding if it's got this frame around the outside, this square box around the outside. So if you just select on it, explode into current view. So right click, explode into current view, and use the drawings layout. Don't keep the original elements. So click OK, and then we've got this as a polygon. Now I'm going to make probably 3 copies of that. I'm not too sure how many, but just click on it again, get your drag tool, and then control click or option click in Mac to get a copy. I'm going to do it again, and just put another copy. I'll even do it again for safe measure. I'm not too sure how many of these I'll need, but I'll need a few. So there's enough for me to work with at the moment. Now I'm going to change that shape into a fascia purlin. So probably the first thing that we'll do is we need to be able to change these shapes. It's one entity at the moment. It's probably combined as a single polyline. Now we can work on individual bits of that polyline. If we go up to, I think it's under Edit, Grouping, and we suspend groups. So if you click Suspend Groups, that'll allow you to put the different parts of that polyline aside to be worked on individually. So probably the first thing that I'm going to do is stretch the depth of this one down. And actually it might have been important that you did, just check that you did before. I'll just bring a guideline up. But I want all of these at the top to line up for the moment. And put another guideline on, probably importantly that they line up at the bottom. Now, what I wanted to get all them to line up, and I'm going to use those heights in a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this first one down so it's deeper, so it can become the depth of a fascia. Depth of a fascia in this building, look, I'm not too sure what it needs to be. We'll work that out a little bit later. But probably it needs to come down 50mm more at least to make a 200 deep fascia. So as a starting point, that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to be able to do that by, well, I'll just quickly measure that depth, by the way. Well, that's 152. So what I might do is I might move this top guideline, or make a copy. In case I need to use it later, I'll make a copy. So Control key or Option key, and come down the distance of 200 and press Enter. Now, if you go up to Edit, Reshape, Trim, you can enter the Trim command, and if you click on any item, it'll trim itself away to the next item it either touches or in this case the end point. So edit, reshape, trim. Now there's a hotkey that you can use from that. I'm on a Mac at the moment, and I know my hotkey is the Command key. So I'm not too sure if in Windows it might be the Control key. We'll sort that out in class though. It is just press and hold the Control key or something to get that up. So like I'm doing here at the moment, when I'm pressing my Command key in Mac, you can see a pair of scissors pop up. So find what that hotkey is there for you. And then what I'm going to do once again is I'll grab all of this now that I've split that away. Grab all of that. That way I can see I've now picked up all of these items. And I'm then going to drag all of those items using Pet Tool Drag, if I can get that to come up. Change, make sure here's my Pet Tool Drag. So change Pet Tool Drag to do that. And then this is where I'm going to make use of these other entities here. For starters, I'm going to set up the thickness of this with another guideline. So I'm pulling another guideline over to this edge, and then I'm going to bring that guideline across maybe, let's say, 25 millimeters. Now I'm going to use my trim tool to then trim off that piece and that piece, so that I can then pick up these two pieces as one and drag them across to here. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is, I think I'm going to trim this off here. So I'll trim all of that there, just so that I can then make use of these two pieces being exactly the same height and drag them across somewhere like that. This piece here will disappear, so I'll use my trim tool there. So that piece there is going to disappear. And now I'm going to tidy that up a little bit. It doesn't look very tidy just at the moment. I'll drag this guideline back to there, I think. So on this next one here, I've got to keep making sure I leave one full behind here. I'm going to trim out the opposite pieces there, so that I can make use of these two radii here. So I'll copy them probably from, not too sure here at the moment, so I'll drag them maybe from that point. Make sure you change to this drag everything, and I'll drag that for the moment to here, maybe that end point there, and then I'll drag it again down to here. That way you might see what I'm doing here is now I can drag, this now is just drag. I want that drag, just drag the node, or it's probably called stretch, and then I can stretch that one out. So you're practicing just some typical drafting technique in ArchiCAD here now. Now when you do this, take care to look for the cursor changing. So when this pencil cursor comes near an endpoint, it changes to a solid black cursor. It lets me know I've actually got the endpoint. Sometimes it might change to a tick to let you know you're on the end of something. So just watch for that change, because it's very, very important that we get that. Well, actually, sorry, I didn't want that to go there. I wanted that to go over this one. So this guy here now, I'll change to the drag everything. Keep using your pet tool. And that's going to go to that point there, and these were the ones that I wanted. It's this one over here that I'm trying to change the shape of everything. Now, I think if I zoom out, I think I've just used drag there, whereas I wanted to use stretch. So that means this one here will be needing fixing up. This one here will have to be stretched there. And look for the pencil to change. But sometimes, you don't have to worry about zooming in so much as looking at the cursor. and when you find the cursor has changed, you'll know you're snapping to the right element. Okay, so I'm going to now, for instance, trim this and that off. You can see how I'm using the old items to make up the new ones. And this one here is going to come to a position maybe like that initially, and then after I get it there, I'll pick it up again and then move it to there. I need to get that tip to make it work, and then I can click on the end of this line and make sure I'm in stretch to stretch that one back until the pencil changes. And then click, watch for the pencil to change so you know you've got the end point. Okay, I need another radius up here now to close this off, probably. I might do something like, rather than that, I might delete these two, because I'm trying to keep consistent shapes from the original C-section. So I'm going to trim this off, so I've got this shape. Then I can pick up that. Now I'm going to temporarily, the first thing I'm going to do is rotate it, so click anywhere on it and change to rotate. Click anywhere on it again and rotate it backwards 90 degrees. That way I'm then going to be able to pick up, I think, this point, change it to the pet tool drag, and then I'm going to be able to locate it at that end point, and then I'm going to be able to drag it back. Now I want that to lie, I want the bottom side of here, so back to drag, I want the bottom side of here to line up there, so that these bottom sides of the original C-section shape is lining up with the bottom side of that point there, and then I can click and drag. Look, there's lots of different ways of doing everything that I've been doing here, but you'll see the end result that I'm trying to achieve, and then as long as you meet that, we'll be happy. Now I just want to double check what I'm left with as a landing on here. 10mm, I think we need more than that, so even though I said I was going to use those original shapes, I think I want another 10mm there, so I'm going to pick up that end point and bring it out another 10, and that one, bring it out another, or until it lines up to there. Now it's most important that all of these shapes are changing, are snapping perfectly. Now I need to split this apart again. So here we go. So I'm going to trim off these pieces with my command key and get rid of that piece. So this is all one piece here now. Then I'm going to, so I've got the radiuses on this side, so then I'm going to trim these radiuses off, so I haven't got the radii, and then I can select all of this in one go, and then pick that all up, and with the pet tool drag all of that across to here. Then looking for the tick, it's got to absolutely close perfectly. Now while that's all selected, I'm going to click on it somewhere else again and change my pet tool to rotate, this one here. Now my centre of my rotation, while that's all selected, if I hover over the arc here and wait till a centre line marks up as a little square, I can then click on that square as the centre line of my rotation, because that's the centre of the arc. We don't want to change the bending centre. So then I can click any direction over here, and then you can see what's happening on my screen, how I'm rotating this. So I'm going to click up in this direction, type 5 for 5 degrees, and press enter. I've now then rotated all this by 5 degrees. Now we've got this tiny little error happening here now, which I said has to be cleaned up. So you'll have to use your trim to clean that back perfectly. And trim to clean that back perfectly. And you should then have one nice closed shape, which could become the basis for your fascia purlin. I'm just going to leave this one in its entirety at the moment, but I'll clean up anything else that's lying around here, and we'll go to View, Guideline Options, Remove All Guidelines. Now, I'm going to back up on that a little bit because I've just seen a little bit of a problem. We're going to need to rotate this bottom section here also by the 5 degrees like we did up the top. So select the fill and we'll delete that, and I can select that. Now it'll all rotate and then I'll be able to trim that up a little bit, and then I'm going to shift select that. Now as long as you don't have anything selected that's going down further into this part, what we're going to do will work. If you've got something selected that's going down further into this part, then those bits are going to rotate around as well. It doesn't matter if the curves are selected or not selected. They can be part of the rotate or not. It won't matter. So in my case, I've got one of them that is part of the rotate and one of them that isn't. So we're going to click on it again to get the pet tool to happen. We're going to change to rotate. I'm going to put my rotate icon in the center of this bend, but you can't get the center of that bend yet until you hover over the circle and wait, and then you get the center mark showing up. So you can click. Now we click any point, and then we give it a direction, and we type 5 and we press enter. Right, so we just need to pick clean up now. In my case, there's a little bit of trimming to do there, and that's because this circle was not part of the rotate, but this circle was part of the rotate, so there'll be a little bit of trimming to do here. You've got to get those perfectly trimmed. Now I can put my fill back in. So I'll go back and do the fill tool again, click on the fill, just make sure you haven't got show area text, and click on the magic wand and click part of the line there, and it should have placed a fill for the whole line there.